In this tutorial, we'll be going over dictionaries. So what are dictionaries in Python? Dictionary is a collection of data structures. Is a collection of data structure in Python consisting of elements with key value pair relationships. You can think of dictionaries like the normal English dictionary that you use. There is a word and then it has a meaning to it. So that word, you can think of the word like the key, while the meaning is its value. Okay, so that's what a dictionary basically is, just a value, a key with its value. So if you refer to the value, you're not actually going to get, if you refer to the key rather, you're not actually going to get the key back, but you're going to get the value that is related to that key. Okay, I hope you understand. So let's move on to how to create a dictionary in Python. So to create a dictionary in Python is very simple. All you give is an identifier or variable name, the assignment operators, and then the curly braces, and then each element within the dictionary has two values: the key value, the key, and then colon followed by its value. This key and values can be any data structure within Python, but the key can be an integer or a string, but cannot be like other collections, but the value can be other collections. Okay, so let's move on to the coding part where we put what we have just discussed into practice. So let's get there. So I have created a file in my Visual Studio Code. It's called dictionaries.py. okay, it's a Python extension. So let's move on to our first thing that we're going to discuss in this tutorial. So the first thing we're going to discuss is how to actually create a dictionary. So to create a dictionary is very simple. The identifier name, which is mine, is dictionary my underscore dict, and then the curly braces. So in here we put in the key and then with its value. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So let's create country codes. Okay, so let's say TZ. So TZ is the country code for Tanzania, so its value should be Tanzania. Okay, so that is the first element. So to create another element, we just put a comma and then we can create another element. So let's create US. This is the country code for the United States. So United States, okay, United States, comma. So we can go on like this. Okay, so we can have like millions and millions upon of data. Okay, so that's how we work with this is actually capital Z. That's how we work with dictionaries in Python, whereby this is the key and this is its value, this is the key, this is its value. Okay, so this is the word like in a normal English dictionary, and this is its definition. So if we refer to the key, what Python is going to return to us is actually its value. So it's a key value pair relationship. Okay, so let's move on to our second. So now we know how to create dictionaries in Python. And by the way, this could be, the values could be any other data structures. Could be, maybe we can say we can create another element called list, and this is value can be a list. Okay, so a list we want. Okay, so it can be also something like that. This will also work, but in this tutorial we're just going to go over work with strings for much simplicity. Okay, so let's move on. So how do we access elements from a dictionary? We can access elements from a dictionary using two main methods. This is the square bracket notation, which is the first method, and the second method is the get method. By the second method is actually using the get method itself. So let's print this on the screen. So it's my underscore dict. So my underscore dict, and then the square brackets, and then we specify the key of which elements we want to get. So we want to get the country code for TZ. Which country is TZ? We don't know. So if you run this, it's actually going to return to us the value related with TZ, which is Tanzania. So if you put in here US, it's going to return to us the value that is related with the key US, which is the United States. Okay, so that's how we work with the first way you can get elements from a dictionary. The other way you can get elements from a dictionary is actually using the get method. So it's the get, and then in here you specify the key. Okay, so if you run this code, we get Tanzania. If you put in here the US, we also get the United States. So this is how we work with how to get access elements in a dictionary. So what the common thing that you can see from both methods is that both of them use the keys. Okay, so to get an value, we use the key. Okay, so that's how we work with dictionaries in Python. So let's move on. How do we change an existing element? For example, let me keep in another element, which is CA. I believe is a country code for Canada. So I made a mistake here and I typed in Kenya. Okay, I made a mistake and I typed in Kenya. So Kenya is actually a country in East Africa. So if later on I realized my mistake, so I want to change the value of CA to Canada. So to do that is actually very simple. So to do this, we just type in our the name of our dictionary, and then we specify its key. The key is CA, and then in here we specify the new value that we want to refer it to. Okay, so we want to say this now is Canada. So now if I print if I try to access the CA, we will actually get Canada and not Kenya. Okay, so you see, that's how you update or you change all the existing elements within a dictionary. So let's move on. Let's check. Maybe you want to check if something exists within your dictionary. You aren't sure if something exists within your dictionary. So to check, you can simply use two ways. First, we can check by using the key. We always check using the key, not values. Okay, so we check using if specify CA in, and then we specify my dictionary, the value. If it's in there, we want to print out. So we want to print out yes. Okay, so if the key CA is within our dictionary, we want to print out yes. In this time, if you run this, we will not get yes, because there is no CA key within our dictionary. So if you run this, we will not get any output. But if I change this to TZ, we will get an output. Okay, so yeah, we'll get an output saying yes, means that TZ exists within our dictionary. So this is the first way we can get elements within to check if something exists within our list. So the second method is actually getting the keys. Okay, so now let me just show you this. Let me not print it out, let me just type it out first. My dictionary dot keys. This is a method to use the dictionaries that return to you a tuple containing an array of all the lists. So if I print this of all the keys rather, so if I print this out, on the screen, we should get a tuple containing a list of all the keys within our dictionary. So you see, we get here TZ, which is one of the keys within our dictionary, and also get US, which is one of the keys in our dictionary. So this is a tuple. We have already discussed tuple in our previous tutorial. So if you didn't watch that, you can go and check it out. It's just the previous tutorial. So you can see that we have a tuple, and that tuple contains a list, and that list contains string data which represent our keys. Okay, so that's what the key method does. So if this is a tuple, then we can look through it. So we can check saying if the key, which is we're looking for TZ in this one, if TZ is within this list containing all our dictionaries, we should print yes. Okay, so if is it within our keys, we're supposed to print yes. Okay, and then we got yes, so it means it's in there. So it's just like English. If TZ in dictionary.keys, print yes. Python is so simple, it's just like normal English. So if TZ in dictionary.keys, print yes. That's what it basically does. So that's another way you can check if a certain key exists within your dictionary. Okay, so let's move on, and let's see how you can access the keys in dictionary. We've already seen that. So to access the key, simply say this and then dot keys. Okay, which will return to a dictionary of keys. So let's actually print out those keys. So just say print let's use a for loop to loop through this, since it returns an iterable. So for key in my underscore dict dot keys, we want to print out key. Okay, so you're going to loop through all the keys within our iterable, which is this method dot keys returns actually the keys. You've already seen that. So it is a data structure that we can iterate through. So if I run this, we're supposed to get all the keys, each one is on a line. Okay, so that's how we can get the keys in Python. So let's move on to, maybe you don't want the keys, you want to get the values. How do you do that? So we just replace this with value. So the values method will actually return to us all the values, so this returns to us a string, returns to us a tuple containing a list of all dot values. So if you print this out, let's comment this out for now. So if you print this out on the screen, we will get all the values which are within a tuple containing a list, and each element within a list is a string representing our values from our dictionary. Okay, so we can iterate through this. So let's remove this and let's uncomment this out. So we are going to use a for loop to iterate this. So we discussed what the for loop is. If you're not a for loop is, you can check in the previous tutorials. So if you run this, we will get each value, each on its own line. Okay, so we can get the values for dictionary in Python. So let's move on. So we've already seen how you can iterate through this dictionary. Either you iterate using the keys, or you can iterate through using the values. Now let's have a scenario whereby you want the key to print out a key and then its value on the screen. Okay, so let's create a program that will just print the same data structure that we see in here. Okay, print the key, colon, and the value. So to do this, there's another method in Python which is called the items method. So the items method returns to us two values. It returns to us the key and then its value. So let's say from key, I'll write the code, I explain to you what it does. In my underscore dict dot items print, we are going to use an f string. We've already discussed what an f string is. An f string is just like this. We put an f and then double quotes or single quotes, and then in here, if you put curly braces, you can write actual variables in here. So I'll write the variable key and the variable value inside of curly braces value. Okay, so now let me explain to you what you have just done. So the items method returns to us two values. It returns to us the key and its corresponding value. Okay, so we are storing in the key inside our key variable, and we are storing the value inside our values variable. So if you print out key, you're actually going to print out the key that was returned to us from the items method, and if you print out value, you're going to print out the corresponding value that was returned to us by the items method. So if you run this on the screen, let's see what we get. We get Tanzania colon TZ, colon Tanzania US United States. Okay, so that's what we have just done here. So the items method represents to us both keys and values, unlike the dot values method which represents only the values, or unlike the keys method which returns only the keys. The items method returns both keys and the value, which you can store in here and you can print out or do something with it. Okay, so that's what the items method does. So let's move on. Let's see how we can remove an element from our list. We have created our dictionary, sorry, not list. Let's try to remove some element out of it. So we just say mydict.pop. So the pop, it takes in an object which represents the key. So we want to remove the US. So we just type in here US, and if you run this code, you see nothing happens. Okay, I forgot this. Let's print it out so you can actually visualize what happened. So you can print out my dict. So if you print out my dict, you see we get only Tanzania left inside of our dictionary. Means that you have removed the US. So the pop method, and you specify the key of the element that you want to remove out. Okay, there's a pop method, and then there's the pop items method. So the pop items method will remove the last element out of our list. So let's say that we copy this and then we paste it over here. So okay, so now the last element in our list is TZ, right? So if I run this code, we are actually going to be left with the United States. So the pop items method does not take in any parameters, but what it does, it removes the last element out of our dictionary. It removes the very last element out of our dictionary. While the pop, so the difference between the pop and pop items methods is that the pop takes in a key of the specific element that you want to delete, while the pop items remove the very last element out of the dictionary. Okay, so that's how you can remove elements from a dictionary. Let's see how, maybe another way that you can remove an element out of a dictionary is by using the delete method, the del keyword, sorry. So you just specify a del space, and then you use the get notation or the brackets, square bracket notation to get the specific item that you want to delete out. So let's say that we want to delete out Tanzania out of our list. So if I run this, we can see that the only thing that is remaining is the United States. So if I remove US, the only thing that will be remaining will be TZ, Tanzania. Okay, so if I run this, you can see TZ is the actual that is remaining. So that's how you can use the del, the pop, and the pop items method to remove elements out of your dictionary. Okay, so the del method can also be used to remove the whole dictionary out. So let's bring this up here. Okay, so let me run this and we see. So we got an output which is saying that the United States. So this output was before deleting our dictionary. Now let's try to print our dictionary after deleting the dictionary. It means the dictionary doesn't exist. This would throw at us an error because it has deleted the dictionary. That's why it says the dictionary doesn't exist. So the del method can be used to delete both a specific item from a dictionary by when we specify the key of the specific item, but if you didn't specify anything, it will delete the whole dictionary. Okay, so that's how you can delete a dictionary or its individual elements. So let's move on to how you can additional methods. Let's go over some additional methods within a dictionary. Okay, so we have already created our dictionary in here. So now let's try to use the first method. So the dictionary my_dict.clear, the clear method, and then we try to print my_dict. Okay, so now we have removed every element out of our dictionary by using the .clear method. So now if we print out our dictionary, it should be an empty dictionary, which we get here, an empty dictionary. Okay, so that's how we can remove something out of our dictionary. So another method that we can go over is the .setDefault method. So .setDefault. So the setDefault method is very simple to use. So it can be used to update or something. So let's say we want to okay, let me just go over this. Okay, so I want to change I want to check for the key TZ in our list. If the key TZ exists within our list, it will return to me its value. But if it doesn't exist, it will create that element with the key TZ and its value would be set to Kenya. Okay, so now let me run this code. Okay, let me print it out because it returns to us. So let me print. Okay, sorry, let me try to print it out. Okay, this one, and then we remove this. We don't need this anymore. So let's run this. So we got the value Tanzania, so it returns to us the value. Now let's try to KY. KY isn't in our dictionary, right? So now let's run this code and see what we get. It has returned to us Kenya. Why? But KY isn't in our list. Let's investigate further. Let me try to print the dictionary out so that you can visualize what is going on. So my dict, let's print it out. You can see by some weird way we have Kenya in our list, in our dictionary rather. So what happened? So what the default method does is that it takes in a key and a value. It checks our dictionary. If that key exists, it returns to us that key's value. But if the key doesn't exist, it will insert that key into our dictionary and assign it to this variable. So if we check for TZ existed within our list, so it returned to us Tanzania. But if we check for KY doesn't exist in our dictionary, so it puts KY in a dictionary and assigns the value Kenya to it. So that's why if you print it out, we are getting Kenya. Okay, so that's how the default method works. So there are other methods, different methods that we can use with dictionary. So let me just give you a simple way to find them more about dictionary. So just type in help and then run this code. So this should bring to you the Python interpreter. So in here you bring for your screen like Python 3.7 and the help utilities module, blah blah blah. You can read about this. So let's find about dictionaries. Dictionaries. Let's type in dict. Okay, so dict, we get it. So it's actually dict, not dictionary. So it can bring for you the documentation of how to use dictionaries. You can see about the key pair methods, the various methods about that you can use with dictionaries. You can see the copy, that's clear, the items, the key, the prop item. So these are the various methods that you can use with a dictionary. So if you are not sure of something, you can just try the help method and then go and delve further into this to find out more about dictionaries. There are thousands, hundreds or even tens of methods that we didn't even go over. So you can read about it to have more idea about dictionary. So yeah, this brings us to the end of this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share my videos. If you have any comment, you can leave it in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you, or you can follow me on Instagram at Freezotech. So please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.